Good morning, my IB World Lit HL seniors. Congratulations, welcome to your senior year. You know me, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing myself. What I do want to talk to you about is a couple of things you'll be doing while I'm gone. I'll tell you all about my trip when I get back. That pool tournament I told you about, we won, and so we're in Vegas playing the championships, so lots of fun. So let's talk about what you're going to work on the next couple of days. I gave you feedback on your written assignments that were in Turnitin.com. Some of it's written, some of it's audio. The audio feedback I feel like is better. If you have questions about your essay, you can definitely come in and make an appointment and talk to me. These are definitely not finished. That's why there's not grades on them. I'm just giving you advice. We'll have several editing workshops as we go forward. These editing workshops are intended to give you both skills for essay writing for my class and also skills for helping you work on your extended essay. So in this first one, you guys have written your drafts. I would say I didn't see any papers that were ready to be sent off to IB. I saw some that were very good, some that were very rushed, lots that were in the middle and definitely are ready for the next step of revision. So the next couple of days, we're just going to do simple, concrete things, okay? The first thing we're going to do is take a look at our papers sentence by sentence. So if you look on the screen, this is a cover letter that I've written to try to convince an editor or an agent that they want to read one of my books. And so I'm going to kind of use this as my substitute essay. So the first thing I'm going to do is very, very simple and easy. I'm just going to separate each sentence onto its own line, and I'm going to put a number. So there's one. That's one sentence. So here's two. And I'm just reading for the end punctuation, and I'm hitting enter, and enter again. There's another very short sentence, that's 3, space, enter, enter, 4, space, enter, enter, okay? So you're going to keep doing that. Okay, so the first thing I've done here is, as you can see, I've separated each sentence onto its own line. You will do that as well with your entire essay. It will take you some time, that's okay. I didn't do all of it because this is just a sample. And then I'm going to come up here to the highlights. Okay, so you just click on, let me show you that again. You just click on this arrow next to the A, and it says text, so that's your text color, and then you're going to go to highlight. And we're all going to use the same highlights this time because it will make it easier. We're using different colors for different things, and so it will be really useful to all have them be the same color. It'll just make more sense as we go forward. Okay, so we're going to look for various things. So the first thing I would like for you to do as you read through your paper is words that seem to be repeated a lot. I want you to highlight that in yellow. So you just click on one of the yellows. Click. Okay. And so I've got the word play repeated in the same sentence. In this case, I want to do it for parallel structure. However, if I were writing an essay, that may or may not be appropriate. So it's not necessarily true that repetition is bad, but you want to make sure it's really intentional. And it's not just that you're using the same word over and over again because you haven't really thought about your language. So there's a repetition there. Let's see. Here we have another, again, this was intentional parallel structure. But since it's a repetition, I'm going to highlight it and look at it. I saw a few papers where the same word was used like 5 times in one paragraph. That is not parallel structure, that is repetition. Okay, so that's a good example of repetition. So yellow for repeated words that seem to show up over and over again. So if there's any sentences that don't make sense, we want to highlight them in pink. So you're again coming up over here and magenta, because you're all going to be working on Google Docs if you're working on a Chromebook. If you're looking in Word, ask Miss Galt if you don't know where your highlighter is, but it's easier to find in Word, and so I didn't feel like I needed to show you where that was. So I have now Julie is adrift. That it's a complete sentence. This is my verb. It's not a great verb, but it works for what its purpose is right now. Let's see. So my sentences are fairly well constructed because this was revised and revised and revised. But this sentence is a little bit long and clunky. So if I wanted to highlight something in pink, we would say that one. Like maybe it makes sense, but it's not quite clear. You could get confused about what's on its way to New York City to Santa Cruz, and there's just a lot going on. So I'll highlight that one. So anything that's confusing, you're going to highlight in pink. The next color is going to involve a second handout. So let me find that handout. That's Dead Word List. Okay, you'll have a paper copy of this hopefully in front of you. Most of this is from the internet. I just went and found one, but then I tweaked it and added some things. And as we go forward, we're going to want to add to this list words that we know that we're overusing and are therefore not very effective in writing. And so what I want you to do is you're going to have this list next to your computer, and you can do this a couple of ways. You can use the where is it here in Google Docs? So you can use the find, okay, and you can just take this first dead word. So we're going to look for a lot, because I know I might use that. Let's see here. Find a lot. Replace with, I don't want to replace it, I just want to find it. This is easier in Word. I know Word better. So let's see if it will let me do this. I'll highlight it. Highlight. Blue. Okay, sorry, I had someone come into my room. So you would just go to Edit, Find and Replace, and it will find stuff for you just by typing it in there. We're not going to even worry about replacing it. So I want to go back up to the top, and it will find those words for me. So if you're going to be honest about looking for these dead words in your work, that's what you're going to do. There are a lot of them. If you don't want to take the time to look at all of them, look at some of them. Or as you separate your sentences into their own individual things, look for words that you see a lot and then see how many times it's in there. The nice thing about this list is it has some suggestions. Some things I say just cut. Anytime you're like complimenting the work in a formal lit analysis essay, that's unnecessary and can be distracting. We're really looking at your ability to describe and evaluate the effectiveness of the work, which is not the same thing as saying it's good or great. So I just said cut those things. Emotions shows up a lot, especially those of you who are writing about the blind owl. Don't say emotions ever. Just say, name the feeling. Like, he has a lot of emotions. Well, yes, but what are those emotions? So make sure you are as specific as possible. These words right here, very, really, just, and awkward, just go through and cut them. And then if you need to put something there in the sentence, go ahead and do that. But usually those you can just cut. Okay? So anything that you feel like is on this dead words list, I'm comfortable with you just cutting it. If it's there and you don't know what to do with it, then highlight it in blue. Okay? All right, so go back to our document here. Close that. We're good. Okay. See, look, it highlighted it for me. I like it so much. All right. And then the final thing I want you to do is I want you to go through and bold all your subjects and underline all of your verbs. Okay, so in this first sentence, Yule is my subject, so I'm going to bold it. And my verb is this play right here, so I'm just going to underline it. Okay, this is a compound sentence, so I have another subject right here because they're two independent clauses joined together. And I'm just going to underline that. If you need a review on what these things are, talk to a friend or look back on Google Classroom at some of the videos that are on there that give you instruction about subject and verb and how to identify them. Many of your sentences may not have either a subject or a verb. And then if that's the case, I just want you to notice that, and then we'll take a look at those. Because if you have sentences that don't have both a bold and an underline, a subject and a verb, please, 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 just know you're going to have to revise them. All right, and then so here is am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. We can put those up if you need a reminder. Those are being verbs, which means they're weak verbs. They're not very good verbs, but sometimes they're necessary. And there you go. Okay? All right, so those are some samples. This is your first phase. I imagine that this is what will take up all of your time on Thursday. Your homework on Thursday is to print this out and cut each sentence into strips with a pair of scissors. So you want them to be separate because you will be using them and working with them and kind of looking at your organization on Friday when you come in. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday, and I hope that tomorrow is really productive and that you're all happy to see each other and excited for your senior year. And I will see you on Monday. We're going to have a great time this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.